The Iran regime is over. Not collapsing, not weakening, over. This morning, the United States and Israel launched what President Trump himself is calling major combat operations against the Islamic Republic of Iran. Not sanctions, not warnings, bombs. From jets, from carriers, from the most advanced military force ever assembled in the Persian Gulf, dropping on Iranian soil right now as you watch this video. And here is what makes this different from every other escalation we have covered. This was not just a strike. This was a decapitation. Israel's first wave of missiles did not hit a radar station or an airfield. They hit the district of Tehran, where the supreme leader Ayatollah Khamenei lives and works. 7 confirmed missiles struck that area. His office, his compound, the presidential palace next door, the National Security Council building. Khamenei himself has been moved to a secret location. He is not in Tehran. The man who has run this country for decades is now hiding somewhere underground while American and Israeli jets circle above his capital. Let that sink in. This is not just a military operation. This is a regime change, and the US planned it, built toward it for months, and executed it this morning with surgical precision. Let me show you exactly how this came together. The first target was the IRGC Intelligence Directorate. This is not some random military building on the outskirts of a city. The IRGC Intelligence Directorate is the nerve center of Iran's entire covert operations structure. It runs informants inside foreign governments. It coordinates assassinations of dissidents abroad. It handles every domestic crackdown on Iranian protesters. Destroying this building does not just hurt Iran's military, it blinds their entire intelligence apparatus in a single night. The second target was the Ministry of Intelligence building in central Tehran. This is a ministry-level strike, a government institution, a political target. Iranian citizens themselves shared footage on social media showing confirmed explosions near official government and IRGC buildings across the capital. The regime immediately tried to ban its own people from publishing this footage, exactly like they did during the 12-day war last June. The people published it anyway. The third and most significant target was the compound of Supreme Leader Khamenei himself. 7 missiles, his offices, his residence, the presidential palace immediately next door, and the National Security Council building, all struck. Explosions in central Tehran were confirmed by Iranian state media itself. This was not a mistake. This was not collateral damage. Israel sent a message using 7 missiles that said clearly and loudly, "Nowhere is safe for this regime, not even the most protected address in the country." And the fourth category of targets was Iran's missile production infrastructure. The IDF announced it had already destroyed 120 surface-to-surface missile launchers across Iran in this single operation. That is 30% of Iran's total missile launcher capability. Gone. Trump put it plainly. We are going to destroy their missiles and raise their missile industry to the ground. He wasn't speaking metaphorically. In retaliation, Iran became the first country in history to launch strikes on Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Kuwait, Jordan, Bahrain, and Qatar, all in a single day. Iran fired at the entire Gulf region, and the Gulf caught almost everything. 1 civilian killed, not from a direct hit, from debris. No confirmed destruction of any major US military asset. No American combat casualties among 40,000 troops in the theater. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has announced that it is joining the US airstrikes led by Israel against the Iranian regime. Bahrain, Jordan, Kuwait, and the United Arab Emirates are also expected to join. This is no longer America's war against Iran. Iran made sure of that when it fired ballistic missiles at 6 Arab nations in a single morning. Nations that had nothing to do with the strikes on Tehran, nations that were neutral, nations that were mediating. Saudi Arabia responded by placing its full military capabilities at the disposal of every targeted nation. Bahrain, which absorbed a strike near the US Navy's 5th Fleet headquarters, declared it reserves its full right to respond in coordination with its allies. The world is treating this like a surprise. It is not a surprise. This has been building since January, and the signs were everywhere if you knew where to look. Go back to January 13th, 2026. President Trump issues a direct message to the Iranian people on social media. He tells them to keep protesting, to take over their institutions. And then he adds 5 words that almost nobody took seriously enough at the time. He said, "Help is on its way." That was not a throwaway line. That was a timeline. 10 days later, Trump announces publicly that a U.S. naval armada is moving into the Middle East, the aircraft carrier USS Abraham Lincoln, then a second carrier, the USS Gerald R. Ford, then 12 warships positioned in and around the Persian Gulf and Eastern Mediterranean. You do not just wake up and move 2 aircraft carriers to the Persian Gulf overnight. That deployment was planned weeks before the announcement. The U.S. was already moving the pieces into position while diplomats were still talking. Then came the nuclear talks. On the surface, they looked like a real attempt at a deal. But the U.S. demands were so extreme: zero enrichment on Iranian soil, destroy all nuclear facilities, hand over all enriched uranium, no sunset clause, no expiration date ever. That many analysts said from day one, these talks were not designed to succeed. They were designed to give Iran one final, documented, undeniable chance to back down, a chance Iran did not take. The United States is about to hit Iran hard. 2 aircraft carriers are locked in position. Strike aircraft are armed and on the deck. Submarines are running silent beneath the Gulf. This is not a drill. This is not a warning. And this is not a bluff. Washington has made its decision. 3 rounds of nuclear talks collapsed without a deal. Every diplomatic back channel has gone cold, and now the most powerful military force assembled in the Middle East in over a decade is sitting within striking distance of Tehran, waiting for the order. But Iran is not going quietly, and it is not going alone, because even as American warships close in, China has been moving weapons into Iranian hands. Carrier-killing missiles, kamikaze drones, hypersonic technology specifically engineered to defeat American naval defense systems. Beijing is not watching from the sidelines. Beijing is arming the other side. What Iran is threatening to fire back with is not the arsenal it built. It is the arsenal China just handed it. 2 aircraft carriers, dozens of warships, hundreds of strike aircraft positioned within operational range of a single country. The United States has not assembled a military presence like this in the Middle East in over a decade. The USS Gerald R. Ford, the world's largest aircraft carrier, has arrived off Israel's northern coast. The USS Abraham Lincoln is already there. Together, they form what military commanders call a dual carrier strike presence. In plain language, it means America now has the capacity to launch sustained, simultaneous strikes across multiple targets and sustain them for weeks. F-22 Raptors, the most advanced stealth fighters on Earth, have been moved forward into the region. Submarines, their exact positions classified, are already operating unseen beneath the surface. Destroyers armed with layered missile defense systems form a protective ring around the fleet. This is not a show of strength for the cameras. This is a military formation built to fight. Trump wants a deal. He has said so, and the diplomatic channel through Oman remains technically open after 3 rounds of failed talks. Both sides are still communicating, even if communicating at cross purposes. That matters. Wars are sometimes avoided not because both sides want peace, but because both sides fear what comes after the opening shot. What comes after an American strike on Iran is a question that does not have a clean answer. What is clear is that the calculation Iran and its backers are making has shifted. Tehran is not simply hoping America will back down. Tehran, with Beijing's active assistance, is preparing to make the cost of an American attack high enough that Washington hesitates before pulling the trigger. That is the deterrence strategy China is helping Iran build in real time, even as the carriers sail closer and the diplomats talk in closed rooms in Geneva with nothing to show for it. Iran has proxies positioned across the region. In Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Yemen, a strike on Iranian soil triggers responses across all of them simultaneously. American troops stationed in Iraq and Syria are within range of retaliatory attacks. Israel faces a multi-front escalation it has been preparing for, but cannot fully absorb indefinitely. Oil infrastructure in the Gulf, responsible for a significant share of global energy supply, becomes a legitimate military target, and threading through all of it is China, continuing to resupply, to provide diplomatic protection at the United Nations Security Council, and to ensure that Iran does not run out of the weapons it needs to make American intervention as painful as possible.